This is the Port Authority Board of Directors meeting, Michigan City, Indiana, Monday, July the 11th. We welcome everyone and thank you for attending. Our first order of business will be to approve the corrected minutes for the June 20th meeting.
Make a motion we approve our minutes.
Second.
So any questions or comments? Questions or comments? Those who favor the motion to approve, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. It's unanimous. At this point, we always invite our public guests to speak. You choose not to speak right now, there'll be an opportunity later. Mr. Frame, may we have the Harbor Master's report, please?
Sure. As you recall, a couple weeks ago, we decided to put a passive booth up at the county fair. The county fair started yesterday, and Friday was setup day. So I'll pass around a picture. It's a little blurry, but this is our booth. We've got some brochures and some postcards and a vertical banner that we had made up for the fair that talks about the Port Authority, and we're going to check it a couple times this week. It's in the conservation building. It's along a row of other passive booths that are similar to that. So we'll see how it goes. Also, about 2 weeks ago, Sam and I were invited to speak at the Board of Directors for the LaPorte County Tourism Agency. And the reason they wanted us to come and speak was we recently found online a economic impact calculator for marinas. Now, back in 2007, one of the universities in Michigan had online an online calculator where you would input various details about your marina, slip size, slip rental prices, and it would kick out an estimated economic impact for your area. Well, this one's through the University of Florida. The other one is out of date, and so it's no longer available, but the one from 2007 basically estimated around $8 million, a little over $8 million as total economic impact that the Michigan City Port Authority provides in the local economy. And then you could dig into more details. So we did it with last year's income, and the total economic impact from the Florida model is $7.9 million and about 82 jobs, which I thought was really interesting that it stayed that consistent over 7 years. Our income was a little lower last year than it was 7 years ago. That was before the recent recession, and we had more slips rented at that time. But I thought that was really interesting. The Tourism Bureau was glad to hear it and just re-emphasized how much they like working with us, and we told them we like working with them as well. And related to slip rentals and things like that, we were looking at our occupancy rate, and in the past you guys have had a sheet that basically laid out how many slips we have rented in different sizes. And as you know, over the last 6 or 7 years, we've not raised the rates, and I think that has helped. Marianne's going to talk a little bit about how many people we've gained this year. But as part of that, we did a little number crunching, and I think for next year, we should look at the same slip rate or the same amount for the slips that we have mostly rented. And then the slip sizes where we have significant vacancies, we should look at a little reduction. The reason for that is we have a lot more competition on Lake Michigan now. Portage Marina, Hammond Marina, East Chicago, Marina Shores is a 1,000 slip unit in Portage. 31st Street Marina in Chicago is another 800 or 900 slips. So there's a lot more supply than there is demand. And generally, with economics, when you have more supply than demand, you lower the price a little bit. So what I would like to propose is we keep the rates the same for the 25-foot, 30-foot, and 45-foot slips. At any given time, we only have 1 or 2 of those available. And then the 35s, we would lower it by $70. The 40-footers, we would lower by $55. Both of those reductions would apply to everybody. So next year, if everything stayed the same and we didn't rent a single more slip, we would look at losing $8,900 on the 35s or $5,300 on the 40s. But if we rented 2 more 40-foot slips next year, that would more than make up for that loss. If we rented 4 more 35s next year, that would more than make up for that. Then when we get to the 50 and 60-foot slips, I think we ought to drop those by $400 for the 50 and $450 for the 60-foot slips. Now, those 2 sizes, we have half or less than half of them rented. We have 15 60-foot slips, 9 of those are empty, and those are the top of our rental scale. So right now, if those people that are in there now got a discount, we're talking $1,600 on the 50-foot slip, $2,250 on a 60-foot slip. So it would be less than 1 new customer on those 2 sizes that would more than make up for the potential loss. The reason I'd like to do it now is we have some big events coming up where there's going to be a lot of people coming in and out the marina, and if we can get a banner made in time, we could advertise the slip rates at the gas dock during the Super Boat race. We could put it in the booth at the boat show, and then we'll be ready to send it out with our renewals for next year. So that's my recommendation, unless anybody has any questions.
Would you summarize, without editorializing, each slip size and what you're going to do, what you're suggesting we do with the rate?
25 feet stays the same. 30-foot slip stays the same as the 2015 rate. The 35-foot drops by $70. The 40-foot slips drop by $55. The 45-foot slip stays the same. The 50-foot slip drops by $400, and the 60-foot slip drops by $450.
And if we had exactly the same occupancy next year that we have this year,
Right.
that suggested reduction would total out to $18,200.
Yes, that's right.
I'm reading that off of your
Yeah,
paper.
yeah, the total, if everything stayed the same and we didn't rent a single additional slip next year, the impact would be $18,200 loss by reducing these rates on the existing customers. But when you look at our new slip holders for this year, as you're going to find out in a little bit, we're up 111 new people so far this year. So I really don't believe we can't rent an additional 8 slips, which depending on the sizes would more than wipe out that $18,000 loss.
That would make us just about the lowest price on all the slips in the area. Would it come close?
It would be close. Portage is still lower on a couple slips. Right now, we're more expensive than Portage. We're equal to or a little bit less than Hammond. East Chicago has some issues at the moment, and they have limited sizes, but we're competitive.
But one of the things that we keep looking at when we look at the numbers is that there's just an awful lot more slips than there are boats. And those of you who are on the lake a lot, I'm sure you know that and you understand it. Yes.
Yeah, just playing devil's advocate, do you think that the 3 categories that we're not lowering, that we would wind up losing some of those people because we didn't lower their rates and we lowered 4 other? That's a concern that I have, just.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't have a good reason for that, other than they just seem to be more popular sizes, and they've recovered from back in 2008, when we had that recession, the big gap opened up in the 25s and 30s.
Right.
And since then, those have filled in, and the gap has moved up into the 35s and 40s, where it's been sitting the last couple of years. Now, mainly since last year and the year before, we've slowly been losing 50s and 60s to basically old age and people moving away, like to Arizona or Florida, not coming back. And we don't seem to see younger people coming into that category. Now, some years ago, when we first remodeled the slips, we had a similar problem, and we lowered it to get below, what we were trying to do is get below the psychological $4,000 number or $5,000 number. So we went down enough just to get under that, so that 50-foot slip at $39.50 sounds more attractive than $43.50. That was the goal. And the idea is, if there are truly fewer 50-foot people around and 60-foot people, maybe that psychological effect will bring some of them here.
I understand that. The only reason I asked that question was I sort of put myself in that position if I had a boat out here, and how would I feel, if I had a boat and they say, hey man, these guys got a lower rate, why didn't I get a lower rate,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just food for thought.
Tim, I'm sorry, how many customers did you say that if we could garner how many new ones to make up for that potential loss?
8,
8?
depending on the sizes.
Yeah.
Mr. Pilecki could probably answer better. Do you get a lot of phone calls from people saying, I'm looking for a 50 or a 55-foot slip, and when you tell them the price, they say, oh no, that's too much, we're going somewhere else? Or, I don't see that we're receiving that many phone calls and turning people away because of the cost.
Well, in the spring, a lot of people call to get rates. Yeah. I mean, they're not going to say right away, well, they can't afford it or that, but we do get calls.
Comparisons.
Yeah, or the comparison.
We try this for a year, see what happens, see if we get any changes. It's not like these rates are set in stone at all.
No, would we like to see the current rates of what they are? Because if I'm looking at a 30-foot slip and I got to pay just a little bit more for a 35, I may want to go to it.
John?
I don't know what the
you have a
current
question?
rates are versus.
I don't think I quite understand. By lowering the rates, are you going to lower the rates for next year or for this year?
It's not for this
Okay,
year, it's for next year.
And so everybody that renews, they're going to get a discounted, okay.
Well, if they're in a size that's
If they're in that
affected by
size,
this.
yeah, they're going to get a reduced, okay,
Right.
that's good. That's good to hear.
Any other questions or comments?
I'll make a motion, we accept the rate reduction, the 4 that the harbor master talked about. It made sense to me.
Support.
We have a motion and a second to approve the new rate schedule for 2017 as has been presented by the harbor master. Do we have any questions or comments? Questions or comments? Hearing none, those who favor the motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Good work, board. I'm glad that you agree with the harbor master on this one.
And that's all I had, unless anybody has any other questions about anything.
I went over the bridge again today for the 100th time this summer, probably, and I always see that Marquis Electric truck there. Do we have any idea what they're looking at in the bridge still?
The last I knew, they were doing a big electrical overhaul
That
in
was earlier
there.
this spring, wasn't it?
Well, it's apparently ongoing.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what else they would be doing there. But the bridge has been functional. Usually if they're doing something that requires where the bridge cannot be opened, they'll send out a notice, and we haven't seen that. So whatever they're doing, they're able to do it without affecting the operation.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mrs. Pilecki, may we have your report, please?
For our new customer listing, since the last board meeting, we have 7 more customers.
Hooray.
But this is the most new customers that we've had in many years, as we've gotten this year. And also, last season, we talked with Tim Cleggy from Marine Mariner about the Wide Wakes program. And they are ready to start this now. But this would be what they put up for advertising would be, these are supposed to come
Next week.
next week to look at the prominent places I would think would be the bulletin boards that we have. And there's advertisement for places around the lake on it that you just go to this website and you could go in it and look around when it comes up for overnight rentals, that our name will be more at the top for it.
And it's a free listing.
Yeah, free listing.
Good idea.
And that's all I have. If anyone has any questions?
Looking at this list, I see we got 16 new ones at Trail Creek Marina.
Yeah.
Do we know what our vacancy is there overall? And if you don't, maybe next meeting you can
Yeah, I'll have
give
it
a
right.
detailed report on just Trail Creek, because we put so much money into that place.
Okay.
We did that to give it a 75-year life, Dan.
Maybe we're not promoting it like we are here. We need to do more.
A lot of it, if people have the smaller boats, they're trying to cut the cost and they trailer it. You know, they're saving, $1,200 by doing that.
Maybe a rate reduction just for that marina down there, Trail Creek, would entice the people. Just some thought, maybe come up with figures next meeting, maybe they'll be
For next year.
promising.
Yeah, we didn't have any, the whole place was closed last year. This probably take a little
It's been a
while.
couple years ago.
Yeah, but it takes about 5 years once you close a marina before you're gonna get up to what you were before.
I thought it was last year.
Yeah, before.
I remember people I worked with at Blue Chip told me that after they finished their project, they still were considered to be a construction site for more than 2 years after they had completed the project. So it takes a while to get things back to normal. But we do share your concern, Mr. Messina. Anything else, Mrs. Flicky?
That's all I have.
Are there any questions of Mrs. Flicky before we move on? Okay. Mr. Garrett, may we have the budget and financial report, please?
Just going to touch on a couple of items, about 4 of them. If you go about a third of the way down for the card member services, there's $7,222.02, which says radio, phone, plant signs, etc. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, and supplies.
Supplies, okay. And then 4 down from there is our NIPSCO bill for $8,990.90, and then one below that is Department of Waterworks for $4,477.54. And then another third of the way down, we have security for Trail Creek, which was $2,693.25. That totals about $23,392.71 of the $38,000, which just leaves about $14,000 for the remaining. Unless there's any questions, I would make a motion that we approve our bill or pay our bills as presented today.
Second.
We have a motion second to pay our bills. Questions or comments? Questions or comments? Hearing none, those who favor the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. You have anything else, Mr. Garrett?
I do not.
Mr. Manor, claims and insurance.
Yeah, I have something on insurance. I didn't make the park board meeting this last meeting they had. I had another function that I had to attend to, so I don't have any report on the park board. But a while back we had a request from the Michigan City Yacht Club, and they asked us permission to allow racing yachts to raft in Trail Creek along the wall by the Yacht Club during the following 2 events. One was the Michigan City Yacht Club PHR confection races, and that was 813 to 814, 40 yachts, and the tri-state race, which was 914 to 915 for 40 yachts. We tabled this because we wanted to make sure that they had insurance and weren't holding the Port Authority liable for anything that would happen while they were docked here at our site. I did get the insurance information from them. They do have insurance. What I would like to do is I'd like to drop the table on this thing and propose a new motion to say that we should allow this to allow these two races to take place on our property here, and that we are covered with the proper insurance, or they are covered with the proper insurance to move this forward. So that's a motion I'd like to make.
Would you explain your motion again, please?
I had trouble the first time. I'd like to make a motion that that we drop the table that we had on this thing, as we did table it until we got the insurance information. I've gotten the insurance information. I think that the insurance information is fine. I think we're okay in that respect. So I'd like to make a motion that we follow through with this request from the Michigan City Yacht Club.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to remove from the table the previous question and approve the request of the Yacht Club to support these two races. Before I call for a vote, I want to make sure that the staff, this one race is on the boat show weekend. Are both parties aware of the other party's activity that weekend?
Yeah, it happened the same way last year, and it worked out fine. Yeah, so yeah.
Okay. Well, we had some new people with LIMTA, the boat show people, and I wasn't sure that they knew about the race, but they do.
No, they may not know. That's a good point. But where these guys are located is around on Millennium Plaza.
Okay.
So I think it'll still work out all right.
All right. I think maybe the staff ought to make that
Yeah,
connection.
yeah.
Okay. Are any questions or comments about the motion? Yes.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Those who favor the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Thank you, board. Bruce, do you have anything else?
No, not at this time.
Okay, Mr. Ferguson, you have anything on master planning?
No, sir, nothing to report today.
Any questions of Mr. Ferguson? If not, Mr. Messina, Board of Communications Special Events.
Maybe we ought to go to communication, something that we have done in the past. We sponsored the junior sale program that's going on currently, and I think we're in another second session. And I meant to bring this up last time, but I'd like to make the motion that we donate $400 to their junior sale program to be utilized as they wish.
I'll second it.
Is that our budgeted number?
Mm-hmm.
The number again?
$400.
Okay. Any questions, board?
I thought we took care of that.
No, we never voted on it, no.
Huh, no, that's a good idea.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to financially support the junior sales program. Administratively, we always have. Any questions or comments?
I'd like,
Questions or comments?
go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Hearing none, then those who favor the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Cooper.
Thank you.
Mr. Philbrick, I didn't see you back there, but congratulations. I assume you were here when the vote was taken?
Before you came prepared, but it sounds like you got to receive.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is port operations. The only thing I have on port operations I wanted to share with you is that, you know, of course, the staff puts a lot of emphasis on customer relations and customer service. And anytime we lose a boater, that's a big deal. And we make every effort to have an exit interview and try to find out why that boater is leaving us. Some of them don't give us any information, but 22 of the 37 that we lost have given us their reason for leaving. And I thought I'd just share that with you. 4 of them are moving. They don't live here anymore. 10 of them sold their boats. And we're hopeful that those same boats came back to us with a new owner. We don't know that. 4 of them are not boating this year simply because their health is not good. 3 of them are traveling, and I assume as a group, the Great Lakes for the boating season. And they've all promised us that they, of course, will return and be slip holders in 2017. That'll take care of some of those numbers, Bruce, that you were concerned about. And just one decided to go to another marina, and that marina was B&E. So if you look at the information we have there, it's certainly not a bunch of negative things. Obviously, our customers like us, they like our staff, and they respect the respect that we give them. So I just thought I'd share that with you. And that's the only thing I have. Mrs. Meir, Advertising and Public Relations.
Yes, board members probably should have an article in front of them. Mayor Meir's office submitted this article to the Northwest Indiana Times a little over 2 weeks ago. He has a set schedule with them to submit articles regarding our activities here in the area and what we have to offer. Now, I'd love to take all the credit for this article, so you know, but I can't do that. Anyway, the mayor had already, this was one of his top priorities, to make sure to promote Michigan City outside the area. I mean, it does us no good if no one else knows about all the good we're doing and what we have to offer here in our community. And the Michigan City Port Authority, of course, operates smartly and efficiently. You know, for years it's operated that way. So I think this is just a bonus to the Michigan City Port Authority and our marinas and things. And for instance, it can help keep potential new slip holders in the queue. I know Tim just spoke about, you know, that possibility of with the lowering of some of the slip holder fees and needing additional customers. So, you know, when we do things like this, it does help with that. And I think it's a big bonus for the charter boat fishermen as well, because any new business that, you know, we can usher them in, definitely is a plus for us. So, you know, we have visitors coming. I think it makes it easier for them to ask the right questions, navigate our city, find out what's going on. So it's been a really great plus, because the mayor's office does receive a lot of comments and compliments regarding these articles from others outside the community. So they are reading it. So, and that's what I have on that.
And in support of the attention that these things get, we've already talked about how many new boaters we have from northwestern Indiana.
Right.
So someone is seeing these things.
Exactly.
And it's getting there.
Exactly.
This article was on Facebook also. I read it on Facebook.
Yes.
Boyd, do you have any questions for Mrs. Meir? Any comments?
Good report. Thank you.
Thank you for your work, Mrs. Meir. I have a couple other things. The website. There are a few things on the website that probably should be updated.
Okay.
And as you recall, we had the record-breaking lake trout. Is that right, Dan?
Correct.
And we were hopeful to to get that on the website.
Okay.
I'm working on getting that picture. Nobody seems
Yeah,
to know
well,
where it came from.
I thought at the last meeting it was brought up that
Yeah.
you were gonna look into,
Yeah, nobody
okay.
actually knows where the picture came from. I'm still
Okay.
looking for it.
Okay, well, anyhow, we're trying. So, and, Mrs. Mayor, I think that at your convenience, come in, sit down with the staff, and go through the website. There are a few things that I think need to be changed,
Okay,
primarily just updated.
okay.
And then, based on the board's action tonight, we've got a whole bunch of new rates to get on the website for 2017. Okay. Mr. Zach Noon.
Yes, working with Harbor Master and staff, I was able to draft a revised, what I'm calling storage services agreement. And I've managed to get it down to one two-sided page. This is for the upcoming winter storage season, but it's also going to apply to summer storage and other services that are provided by the Port Authority. Oops.
Don't break any more.
I'm not gonna break anything else. And what I've done is taken a lot of legalese and distilled it down into what I hope is language that our customers can understand, and all of the major terms that we want in, the term rent, the Port Authority's right to a lien, the Port Authority's lack of any liability, and the vessel owner being the one liable for such thing as injury, death, or damage, how the Port Authority's indemnified, insurance requirements, how the agreement can be terminated. We incorporate in the rules and regulations to the agreement, and then there's a provision where a corporation, an LLC, if a partnership is the owner of the vessel as opposed to an individual, and then just some 10, 11, and 12 are general provisions that you're going to find in almost any any contract of this type. The second page is what we have been using, the winter 2016-2017 contract, but what I propose is just get rid of the winter, and we'll have, if it's 2016, 2017, or 2017, 2018, but that's the rates for the services that we provide. And this document will be incorporated along with what is now the one two-sided page storage agreement. I would ask if the board members could take a look at it, if there are any questions, any changes that they think might be in order. I could easily make those changes, and then perhaps the board could vote on it next week, or in our next meeting rather. I'm always available if anyone has a question and they want to shoot a question to me, or we can just discuss it at the next board meeting. But this is, I think, it's down to the nitty-gritty. There's really nothing wasted in this, so that we don't have a 10-page agreement that you present to somebody and they look through this.
Is this going to be of any benefit to the activity we have a lot of time in the spring regarding the abandoned boats?
Well, I think it will. It certainly refers to the statute. This is in paragraph 3. It very clearly, it's the third paragraph, lets them know that if they don't pay, we've got a lien, and then we have rights under Indiana law to auction their boat and to pursue them for attorney's fees and any other costs that are attended to their failure to pay their fees. So I'm hopeful that people are going to look at this and recognize that, as some people have thought, you can't just leave your boat here and not pay for it, that there are ramifications and repercussions if you don't.
And as you mentioned, I'm going to ask the harbor master. You've reviewed this, and you're comfortable with it.
Yeah.
You've done all the change recommendations that you plan on making?
I believe so.
Okay, so then we leave it in the good hands of the board. And
Maryland's got a
we'll
question.
consider it on the next agenda.
Thank you. And then one other issue that I've got is, you may recall at, I believe it was the last meeting, I told the board that I had an investigator looking to see if Mr. Groves, the gentleman that we had a $4,200 judgment against. Well, my investigator was on a 3-week vacation, and he came back on Friday, and he sent me an email, and he said he hasn't started the project yet, but he will, and he'll get back to me. That was the first step. We wanted to make sure that Mr. Grove is still living where we think he lives, in Will County. And then if he is still there, then I would present to the board a budget because we'd have to file the case in Will County if that's where he lives now. Or if he's in Cook County, we'd have to file it in Cook County, or DuPage if he lives in DuPage. But we want to find him first so that I know what county he's going to be in. And then I'll present a budget to the board as to how much it would cost to go after this guy for the $4,200.
Board, do you have questions, Mr.? Yes.
On this contract,
Yes.
should it say something about what the lien should be put on? It's not against the owner, should be a boat name or boat size or boat manufacturer or a serial number on the boat that is in question. Is there a spot on there where the boat is mentioned anywhere? That is in question, if there should be a problem?
Oh, you mean identifying the boat?
Yeah.
Oh, I could absolutely
Yes.
add a line. That's a good suggestion. I've got room, I can add a line here.
Description.
Vessel description,
Name.
yeah, and vessel ID number. That's very good, yeah.
We made right along the same thing, looking at this form here. We're asking for the person's name or an LLC name. They sign it and date it. We have no way of tracking down where they are, where they live, where, an address on this thing.
Oh, I think we'll
Is that
add
on the
that.
cards?
This goes out with the billings.
Okay.
Billing address.
So we have
charge
the-
card.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, we should have their address. But I still think that's a good idea to have the vessel name.
Well, on page 2, you have room, don't you, Joe?
Yes, I do, yeah.
So that
There's room.
would fit in nicely.
Yep.
When you were passing these out, you mentioned something about winter storage. I didn't catch what you said.
Well, that's the price list. It's the price list for the winter storage contract. But what we'll do is I think, and this is up to staff and the harbor master, if we just take off winter, and it'll be for either the winter or summer storage or any of the other services that a boater might ask the Port Authority to provide, and they check off what they want, and we attach it to this, and that is incorporated into the contract, as well as the rules and regulations of the Port Authority.
Yeah, that was my question. My question was, do we provide all of these services, whether it's winter or not?
No,
We don't.
that's primarily the winter one, because that's what's coming up next year. Where the winter removal started, it was in this page as well. And we wanted to use this page, this contract, for both winter or summer. So the second sheet would have to be tailored for whether it's winter or summer.
So that you'd have, this sheet would have to be
Right.
changed.
Yeah, but this part would stay the
So,
same.
yeah, I'm just
The
questioning this.
insert, the
That's the,
additional insert.
right, yeah,
So we can take winter off of that, but then we have to change the whole,
some of it, yeah,
we have to change some of this stuff.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, because not everything would be available all the time.
all the time.
Any other questions or comments? If not, it'll be on the agenda next meeting. Do we have anything for new business tonight? Yes.
Well, maybe. I don't know if it's new business, something that probably happens every year. If we happen to see a Cadillac in red convertible, wish Mary Ann Lucky a happy birthday.
Thank you.
I understand a new vehicle, I don't know if she bought it for herself or husband. Quite shocking.
Oh, what a birthday present.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Anything else? guest.
I have something.
Yes, Phil?
Okay. First off, thank you for supporting the yacht club on those two events they talked about. And so your reward is to ask to be for some more players, the president, and then do some. This is a very simple regatta that has come up, and it's a group of sailboats that are kind of radius around Michigan City, so they decided Michigan City and Lake Michigan is the place to be on August 19th through the 21st. It's a sailboat regatta.
One more, please.
Yeah.
You have
One
it?
more, sure.
Thank you.
It's a sailboat regatta, and I'm asking that the board accord our visitors courtesy rafting up on the wall. I think there'll be about a dozen of them. And so these are boats 7.9, 27 feet long, I think. And I'm not asking for other forms of support that we do for the larger events. If we need more porta potties or something, the fleet will take that on. So we're asking for a place to put these people to be invited.
What actually is this?
It's a sailboat regatta, so
Goes from,
it's local. It's buoy racing. So they go out and they race around our buoys. It's like a 1 hour race, and everybody comes back in and they start another one. So they try to get 3 races in a day, maybe 3 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, and then they score the series.
Cool.
And it's very interesting racing because all the boats are one design. They comply with the set of rules that make them supposedly perform all the same. So it gets down to the people on the boat, not the boat.
well, I guess my next question would be directed at Tim, whether we have anything else going at that particular time.
I don't believe we do, so I think it would be fine. That's after the boat show,
Right.
like the week after, and I think that's,
Yeah, it's in between,
Clear enough, I don't think they should
Yeah.
be going.
Yeah, I
Between boat
think-
show.
yeah, Michigan City, and then the Tri-State, the Tri-State's 9/4, the other one is 8/13, and this one's 8/19, so it's a week
Yeah.
after that, yeah.
right.
Okay. I think that Mr. Philbrick is expecting board approval.
I make a motion that we approve his request and allow the sailboaters in the race raft on the wall, raft off the wall.
All right, second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve the request. Any questions or comments? Questions or comments?
Glad to see another race.
The yacht club is growing, the membership is growing, the activities are growing, both in power and in sail.
If we have no more questions or comments, those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Congratulations, Mr. Philbrick. Once again, the agreement we've always had with the yacht club is that when the Port Authority supports your activities, we get some kind of visible credit for it. I assume that's going to apply.
Does the Port Authority have a banner that we can put up for these events? Often our flags have the Port Authority logo on there, along with the economic development program, but something across the top of the pavilion. If you, if there is something.
We'll find something. I think we have one.
Good.
Okay.
That would be very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Cooper, could you give us a report on this, on the progress and the success of the junior sail group?
The program is in, we're almost getting close to halfway through. We're in session, or week 3 of session 2. Begins tomorrow. So there'll be 3 days, and then the 4th day, all of the students will go out on what we call big boats. We take them out with a couple of volunteers on like 36 to 40 foot sailboats. Children and students do a good share of the work and try and practice many of the things that they have learned. The enrollment, I don't have a current number, I'm sorry, but it appears that we're right on track with what we had last year, which would be around 80 students altogether.
Good.
Great.
It's the Michigan City Exchange Club has allowed us to use their little small building over there. Quite a small building, but it's actually a godsend because it's right next to our equipment, and we're able to store many things in there. And we promise to have it nice and clean when we leave.
And it has air conditioning.
What?
And it has air conditioning.
We have no power to it.
Oh,
No, it does not have air conditioning, but there's room for air conditioning. We did not, we really didn't need power or anything like that. We needed it for storage. And when we put the sails in there at night, unfortunately, a week ago, we dismantling one of the sailboats, laid the equipment on the ground, and promptly a little PT cruiser ran over it and ruined one of our rigs. So that's one thing we're looking at starting to replace now. But the program's doing great, and we certainly appreciate, as always, your support.
Thank you. Phil, now that the initial presentation has been made on the Park Department Master Plan, do you have anything you'd like to share with the board?
No, there isn't anything other than what we discussed last week, and it's online. I really think, and I'm all for this, but our new pattern in through, if they put that roundabout out there by the statue and then come around, the Port Authority will get a lot of recognition because every car that comes in or leaves will have to go past your facility here. So from your standpoint, that would be, put up some signs and stuff, I guess.
Okay.
But no, it's exciting. I think there's a lot of neat things that are going to take place. So there'll be a period of time, the initial getting in and out, that'll be important.
is that online at the Park Department website?
Okay. Our next meeting will be July the 25th. Look forward to seeing everyone. And I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Fighting over
We're adjourned. Thank you.